buttered up sunshine, sunshine for solar, right? So perfect relationship there. I'm Tom Deo. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Montgomery County Green Bank. Thank you all for coming out to today's event. We're very excited about today's event. It's a celebration of the launch of a significant clean energy project here in Montgomery County. I'm going to start by recognizing the partners. Orlo is the owner and driver of this project. Solar Energy Services is the installer of the solar PV. Patuxent Roofing is the installer of the energy efficiency roof. And the Montgomery County Green Bank with the New York Energy Efficiency Corporation and Virginia Community Capital are the project's financial partners. I'd also like to thank our esteemed guest, Governor Moore. Thank you for joining us today. County Executive Mark Elrich, thank you. Council President Evan Glass, thank you, sir. And the Sierra Club's Shruti Bhagavan. Senator Van Hollen had expressed a strong interest in coming. He wasn't able to make it. Diana Eisenstadt is here, and she'll provide some remarks for him right later in the program. So thank you. And we're grateful that a number of others have joined us here besides yourselves. You're all very important, but I also wanted to call out a few that have made a special visit. The council members, if you'll all stand, from the Montgomery County Council. Thank you. And many others expressed a strong interest, but today was a double committee day and they're doing business this afternoon. If the state delegates, state legislatures would also stand, there's a number of them here in the audience. Thank you. And there were others that offered their support through email while they were on other duties. So, what are we here for? We're here to celebrate an important, innovative, daring, and collaborative project. It's important because this is the kind of significant contributor to help the county meet its housing goals, its greenhouse gas reduction goals. It's innovative, and you'll hear about this later, in its design and the financing that made it happen. It's daring when you have owner leadership of the kind that Aaron Orlovsky is, to undertake such a massive project on a very complex property with over 50 buildings, 684 units. And to undertake that is an enormous accomplishment. So thank you. And it's a collaborative project. We work with partners across the county, across the region, and across the country to make this happen. And you're going to hear more about that. So what is it? What is it that we're here for? 2.18 megawatts of solar PV. Energy efficiency roofing replacement with solar reflective material. We've got the largest rooftop solar project on a multifamily property in the county. All right, so sit down for this. We got energy savings of 2.5 million kilowatt hours per year. That's offsetting 2,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually. All right? That's the equivalent of taking 400 cars off the road each year. Just to bring it down to the human scale. And it's a $5 million Green Bank investment in this project, which would not have been possible had the county not provided us with additional resources this year from the Fuel Energy Savings Tax. And with that, we were able to bring in two other financial partners, mission-oriented clean energy financing partners, that joined with us on this to bring $1.8 million of capital to the transaction. And it's an investment in an equity emphasis area, which are historically disinvested communities, and it's on an affordable community. So we got a lot here, right? And I'm going to add a cherry on top of that. in that they did an EV charger, 2 dual EV chargers here that were part of a Green Bank program done with also a General Motors grant that we've gotten, all a part of bringing EV access to affordable housing community owners. So thank you again for doing that. So in closing, this project demonstrates the power of community leadership, funding, and partnership. It took a committed owner to take on the environmental efforts. It took local and state government to set goals, aggressive goals, and plans to address climate in their communities. And it was a commitment of the county to provide resources to the Green Bank to further its mission. And the value of innovative tools established by government to be a force to help move the dial, just like the Green Bank, through flexibility, partnership with the community, and with resources to act. So thank you for the leadership to make that happen. Now I'm going to turn it over and have more fully set the stage with some of our other players up here. So in order, I'll ask Bonnie Norman, the chair of the Montgomery County Green Bank, to come up, followed by Aaron Orlovsky, who's the owner, chairman, CEO, and president of Orlo, Lisa Walsh, who's with the Solar Energy Services and the installer, Steve Morell, our chief investment officer, and then Shruti Bachmacher to talk for the Sierra Club. So I'm going to turn over to Bonnie first. So Bonnie, please.
Thank you all. On behalf of the Montgomery County Green Bank Board, I'd like to recognize a couple of colleagues who are here also with me. Vice Chair Marcy Mitchell, if you would stand. Vice Chair Bob St-Haiti, I know you're here. And the others who are in the audience who I haven't seen yet. We wanted to thank each of you for being here, honored guests, valued partners, new friends, as we celebrate our transformative work together in our race against the clock on climate. Just to give you a little bit about us, the Montgomery County Green Bank is not a bank. It is not a consumer deposit-taking bank, but it's a mission-driven nonprofit established by the county to help it reach its ambitious climate goals. We are really a catalyst to make clean energy and climate resilient solutions more affordable and accessible to all county residents and businesses. And to do that, we work in 4 ways. I'm going to be quick about this, but as many of you know, we build partnerships. We leverage our capital, which means we take our limited public purpose capital and attract and de-risk private capital so that it can be deployed into investments that benefit not just property owners, but the people who live and work in those buildings. And the magic of climate finance happens, and I bet you've never heard those 3 words together, but the magic of climate finance happens when we can create investment structures where the energy savings cover the monthly loan payment. So that's really kind of a goal, and that makes it a no-brainer for everybody. The other thing we're striving to do is to support our community. 80% of the households we've reached so far are low and moderate income households, so we're very proud of that. And our goal is to create positive impacts around greenhouse gas reduction, but also around health, comfort, and safety of the building occupants, and around green jobs and green economic growth. Lastly, our goal is, as the nation's first local green bank, to lead as an example. And we're happy to say we've shared our programs. They've been replicated at the state level, regionally in DC, and beyond. And in fact, one of our board members was at a climate finance meeting in Paris, and someone from the Agency for French Development cited Montgomery County Green Bank as an example. So we are really on the map in terms of accelerating clean energy investment, thanks to all of you. I also wanted to express our gratitude because none of this would be possible without the vision, initiative, and leadership of the county council, of the county executive, and looking forward to inspirational leadership of our governor. It would also not be possible without champions at the property level who make this happen. And it is my privilege to introduce the CEO of Orlo Properties, Aaron Orlovsky, to tell the Gaithersburg Village story.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming today. Most of my staff, this is what I look like in a suit. It is our pleasure to celebrate this historic moment with you as we have the privilege of constructing the solar energy system spanning 57 rooftops across our Seneca Village Apartments community. 57 buildings are getting solar. We have the privilege to do business in Montgomery County, which I think is the greatest county in Maryland. It's where I live. Where our passion for the environment, reducing harmful emissions, reducing our reliance on gas and oil, and reducing the cost of utilities of our residents, who it is affordable housing, is a portion of this, and it's going back in their pockets, can be actualized. This project was a bold initiative on our part, but it could not have been done without the help and support of our partners. I would like to acknowledge we have the governor in the house. Oh my God. And of course, County Exec Mark Elridge, thank you so much for coming. Along with Montgomery County Council members, I just met my council member today, I'm so excited. And my first real political event. Okay. Thank you for attending today's event, and thank you for your leadership on clean energy initiatives. Thank you to the Green Bank, CEO Tom Deo, Stephen Morell, thank you. Rokas is somewhere in the back there, he's amazing. The Montgomery County Green Bank team and all of our financing partners who are here. You know, this project started probably 3-4 years ago. And we traded countless emails, how to make it work, how to do it, and we were all struggling on how to make it work. At the end of the day, the encouragement, sophistication, expert knowledge, and can-do attitude of the Green Bank was what actually made this happen. So they need a real round of applause because they are amazing, amazing people. Their staff are amazing. By the way, because of the Green Bank, now we're installing electric vehicle chargers. I got a call from Rokas. Hey, Aaron, you want some electric vehicle chargers? I'm like, yes, I do. He's like, well, let's do this. So now we're getting it. Although, Rokas, we have to do level 3. Level 2, not good enough. We need level 3. Okay, but anyways, here's in closing. I see this project as a model of how bold ideas and energy-focused initiatives can be accomplished throughout the county. Based on this model, we have another solar rooftop project underway at Hampshire Towers in Tacoma Park, and with also Lisa and her amazing team, who is really working hard to make sure we can get as many panels as possible, and look forward to many more projects with all of our valued partners. Speaking of valued partners, I want to acknowledge the staff from the Montgomery County Department of Housing and Community Affairs, who are unbelievable career people to work with if you can ever get a chance to work with them. Amazing people. HOC, RHE, I don't know what other 3-letter, but they're amazing, amazing people. Thank you for partnering with Orlo to make affordable housing. If everyone could just look over there, that is part of the Orlo team. They are the best employees, the best people that work for us. We care about our residents first, and You guys, I would be nothing without you guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone for coming, and Jeff for writing the speech, and many more affordable and environmentally focused projects together. Thank you very much. I don't know who I give the mic to, or I just drop it. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Walsh.
Yeah, thank you. Why do I have to go right after Aaron Orlovsky? Okay, I've got 2 minutes and I'm sticking to it. Aaron was introduced to me by the Montgomery County Green Bank, and it's another solar lead, right? And solar leads come in, solar leads come and solar leads go, and it's true what everyone here has said today. It really is a partnership. It's a collaboration between groups. You know, we're a family-owned and operated 40-year-old solar company. All our workers are from Maryland, you know, trained, afforded to us due to these fabulous incentives, both at the federal and state level. And I tell you, when I first met Tom 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, what's this Montgomery County Green Bank? I don't know how this is going to help. Like, we call it the solar coaster for a reason. Incentives come and go. There's always drama. We're always worried about things. And I tell you what, I have projects right now in PG County that I just wish I could push across the county line into Montgomery County, because I know we could make this deal work. Not only that, we have, Aaron was right from the get-go, and let me tell you, if I remove a panel from a roof, Aaron wants to know about it. He's very nerve-wracking to work with on, because he wants all his energy, but then, so the economics have to work, and thanks to our renewable portfolio standard we have here in Maryland, our federal and other state financial incentives, the numbers worked. The second thing is we have to have collaboration with PEPCO and our AHJs. PEPCO did a fabulous job. I have to give a big shout out to them for, Will Ellis. Will is here. Will turned around this project in 48 hours. We had approval to install. And you see, we can develop lots of jobs, but if we don't get approval to install that's cost effective, if we don't get approval from a city of Gaithersburg, we're fabulous and have been fabulous. And we have a trained workforce ready to go because solar adoption has been so rapid. We know solar works. But Montgomery County really legitimate. I'm a salesperson. I'm a consultant, and Montgomery County really legitimized us as an industry. And I know Aaron seemed to trust me right off the bat. And I'm just very excited to be here. It's a fabulous day for us. We're really excited to go, and I bet my 2 minutes are up. So thank you so much, everyone. Sunshine's are wasted.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you to everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Morrell. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at the Montgomery County Green Bank. Thank you so much. Thank you, Governor Moore, County Executive Elridge, Council President Grass, and all of our distinguished guests for joining today. As you heard some, and as you may know, projects like this are actually difficult to implement. They can be technically complicated, they can be expensive, and they sit within a financial structure that evolved over time to benefit low and moderate income residents, but now stands in the way of affordable climate solutions. So we are fortunate at the Montgomery County Green Bank to help overcome those barriers through innovative programming and financing options. Unlike this project, not every business owner has the bold vision like Aaron, or the tenacity and technical expertise like Lisa. So we start at the Montgomery County Green Bank by helping community members recognize the economic value proposition of climate investments. So if you haven't had a chance yet to meet our team, please make sure to connect with them. They're all in the green shirts, if you could all wave. I know Rokas got the shout out earlier, but it's important because our team is consistently out in the market offering their financial and technical expertise in capacity building services for anybody that needs it. But even that is not always enough to convince people to move forward with an investment. And so that's when we emphasize how financial strategies improve project affordability. This deal got done with an innovative financial approach, and I'd like to recognize our financial partners who brought their resources and expertise to make that approach happen. Virginia Community Capital and the New York City Energy Efficiency Corporation. Our Harrison and Jay here, if you could stand up. Thank you. Now, you may have noticed neither of those organizations start with the words Montgomery County. This project exemplifies how we take finite public resources and turn them into a much larger pool of investment coming into the county, coming into the state. In fact, we believe that this project and the Montgomery County Green Bank are beacons for how the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, created by the Inflation Reduction Act, can multiply the effect of its funds in sheer volume of dollars of private capital investment, as well as community-focused climate impacts. In the end, the Montgomery County Green Bank serves the needs of many stakeholders, but few are as important as the needs of low and moderate income residents who face a disproportionate effect from climate change and a much higher energy burden. Projects like Seneca Village help us make important impacts in the community. And so to that end, I'm pleased to introduce a strong community partner of the Green Bank and tireless advocate, Shruti Bhatnagar of the Sierra Club.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and happy Earth Month. What an exciting and great way to celebrate the Earth Week with this amazing green project. So on behalf of the Maryland chapter of the Sierra Club, I want to appreciate the participation in this important event by Governor Moore, County Executive Elrich, Council President Evan Glass, and also salute the partners who have made this important project a reality. Thanks to the Green Bank for inviting the Sierra Club to the table. They have been great partners to work with. And I also want to thank Orlo Management, the financing partners, including the Green Bank, but also Virginia Community Capital, NYC, EEC, and everyone else who's been involved. We have a lot to learn from this partnership. Sierra Club has been and will continue to be an active promoter and supporter of solar development in the county. Solar, especially rooftop solar, is an essential component of what we need to do to reach our county's ambitious but necessary greenhouse gas reductions. This big rooftop project, 2.18 megawatts of solar, serving 684 apartments across 58 buildings, shows us what can be done to move us towards those goals. A substantial share of families in our county and in Maryland live in multifamily homes. Seneca Village will help us learn how solar can benefit those families. It also embodies one of the core principles we need to observe as we expand clean, renewable energy, that is inclusiveness. This project means that the families living in Seneca Village's affordable housing will now be participants in the clean energy economy, even though they can't have individual rooftop solar. This project also reminds us of something we often forget, that a huge share of the investment to build the clean energy future we need will come from the private sector. The project's financing partners know that, and it's also true for the individual homes and business owners who invest in rooftop solar electricity to electrify their homes or buildings or buy an EV, as well as the private investors who support utility scale and community solar and other projects. These partnerships are essential, critical, and so valuable. Our policies and planning need to be actively include these private sector partnerships. Finally, a word about innovation. As green banks or community development financiers, each of the financing partners represents an innovation in their own right, and they each have innovation as one of their targets. Seneca Village is one result. Montgomery County is also an innovator. From the county's climate action plan to the low-income community solar project on the Oaks landfill, to the microgrid-powered electric bus facility, to the recent passage of the Building Electric Performance Standards, the BEPS, we are developing models that the rest of the state can draw on. We hope that other counties and state will take advantage of the models and lessons we are developing here. So this Seneca Village project is a big step in its own right, and it also represents many of the things we need to do to achieve the climate and clean energy goals that we've set. So congratulations to everybody involved, and looking forward to continuing to work with all of you as we implement more projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti. So now on to words from our esteemed leaders here from the state and local government, Governor Moore, Council President Glass, County Executive Elridge. But before we do that, I'm going to ask Diane Eisenstadt to come up and read some remarks provided by Senator Van Hollen, and then Council President Glass, if you'll follow up with that. Thank you.
Thank you. From the Parisians to Montgomery County, Maryland. I like the sound of that. Way to go. Good afternoon. Happy to be with you. From the Senator, the project captures why the Green Bank model is so effective. It serves as a magnet for private capital that is leveraged to create jobs while helping cut emissions, promote environmental justice, and advance climate equity so that everyone can participate in the transition to a clean energy future. We are here today to launch the installation of Seneca Village's rooftop solar energy system during Earth Week and witness a powerful example of those ideals in action. Through financing from the Montgomery County Green Bank, along with the Virginia Community Capital and NYC EEC, this affordable apartment complex will get cheaper power from a renewable source, made possible with solar engineering, talent based right here in Maryland. I've long been a strong proponent of the Green Bank model, which is why I've fought for years to take the idea national, a national climate bank, from a vision to reality. And with the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act last year, which included key provisions from my National Climate Bank legislation and created the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, we are well on our way to making it happen. Seeing the success of the project, I'm optimistic about what we can accomplish by taking the Green Bank national. I'd like to thank the Montgomery County Green Bank and its partners for making this day possible, and I want to recognize the elected leaders of Montgomery County who have the highest standard for climate action at the local level. I'm proud to partner with all of you in your effort to turn the challenge of climate change into an opportunity for prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana, for those words from the Senator, who's doing good work down on Capitol Hill. And it is a beautiful day to be here in Gaithersburg, the most diverse city in the entire country. This could not have been more serendipitous. I know there are a lot of elected officials here, but I do want to take personal privilege to recognize my colleagues who are here. Councilmember Fani Gonzalez, Councilmember Ludke, Councilmember Sales, and I do know that Vice President Friedson was here before he had to go back into council. So here we are for the largest residential solar project in Montgomery County. And we are here because we are in a climate emergency. We have to act quickly, and we have to act where we can. The last 10 years have experienced the highest temperatures in Earth's history. We can't wait. And that is why here in Montgomery County, we've been taking bold steps recently to invest and transform our community, recognizing that 52% of our climate emissions, our greenhouse gas emissions, comes from the building sector. And so it's projects like this that are so important and are going to help bend the curve. That's why we invested just last year, we passed legislation that increased the Green Bank's opportunity to invest by nearly $18 million. And $18 million into the Green Bank that was passed last year. But with great investment comes great responsibility, right? And now you have the power to keep this moving forward. That was a bad joke there, by the way. But, and I have no one to blame but myself. So the reality is, with that $18 million, not only did we direct it so that these public-private partnerships could occur, but we put strings attached to it and said, because we're in a climate emergency and because that our low-income communities, our disadvantaged communities, sometimes do not get the help and assistance that they need, we said, as you invest in this money, you must invest at least 20% in our equity emphasis areas. And as chair of the Environment Committee, we recently got an update, and I'm proud to announce that the Green Bank has exceeded that goal of 20% investment. So they are living up to their responsibility. And this is going to continue. And I appreciate a conversation I had with Aaron just a few minutes before we started, where he was so excited, and I don't need to express his excitement. It was on display for everybody. But I think the most impactful thing he shared was that this project is going to save every renter 1 month of electric bills. Right? He's talking about the solar. He's talking about the investment. And there's great debate in our community these days about how we support our renters. And I think this is one that we can all agree on. So Aaron, thank you very much for that investment. And it's partnerships like this, it's partnerships with our federal partners, our state partners, our county partners, and I won't forget our municipal partners, City of Gaithersburg. But ultimately, we have to do all of this together. Our climate emergency is not going away, and so we have to act, and we have to act quickly. And with that, I will quickly turn over the mic to our County Executive, Mark Eldridge.
Thank you. So this is really exciting to be here. I want to start by just saying, you know how exciting it is to be able to sit next to a governor and actually talk about things you agree with and the kind of future you want to build together. And you know, the first time I had the opportunity to do that, we were testifying on the minimum wage at the state legislature. And this is the kind of governor we wanted, and we're getting done the kind of things we wanted to get done. So I'm really excited about this. This is an important project in Montgomery County. It is replicable as I look at those apartments across the street. You know, and I think, you know, Mr. Orlovsky is a good ambassador for this because he's a businessman at the end of the day. This is not a charity project. He told me what his return on investment would be. He's the kind of person that needs to talk to that kind of owner and say, if you don't do this for moral reasons, do it for your pocket. Because I don't care who contributes to fighting climate change for whatever motive, as long as you contribute to fighting climate change. If it's good for you in your pocket, do it for that reason. If you just understand the morality of it, do it for that reason. But just do it. I'm lucky enough to have solar panels on my house. I can tell you that my panels cost me less every month than my savings in my electric bill. And some months it's substantially different than what I'm paying. And when I filed for federal tax credits, it covered the entire third I put down on the solar panels. So for those of you who are thinking, or if you know people who are thinking, it's real and it works. And at a personal level, it made a lot of sense. I was glad to see it. I wasn't surprised. But this is, you know, the largest project in the county for the moment. Hopefully there will be a competition for largest projects in the county. And it does support our goal of reducing greenhouse gases 80% by 27 and 100% by 2035. It's in an equity emphasis area in the county, which is important. And in Seneca Village, it's a community with 90% of the apartments have rents that are affordable at 60% of area median income. You can say that about almost nothing in Montgomery County. So not only is this the right project in the right place, but these are people who really need that kind of support and help. I thank you for doing this here. You probably could have done it anywhere and made the payback in 7 years. Doing it here is, I think, a really big deal. And I want to thank the Green Bank for everything they're doing. In 22, you had nearly 50 unique transactions, 27 homeowners, 19 commercial properties. I was just talking to somebody out there in the audience about the number of projects they've got stacked up. The people have approached them on in the commercial sector for making a similar kind of transition. So we want to make sure we do as many of these as possible, and it's great that we're able to use our resources. And on the broader picture of climate change, you know, there are the three sectors that we know contribute to it. And the most intractable one is basically the grid. I can see the transition to vehicles. That transition is going to happen. It's only a question of when. It was only like 3 or 4 years ago people were saying, oh, 2035 people will start buying electric cars. This is happening now. And the second sector is the building sector. And now we're seeing more and more people. We've built our first buildings all electric, not small buildings, which are not so hard to do, but giant buildings like Marriott headquarters, like the apartments being built at White Oak Gateway. These are real things that are happening, and there are more projects to come. So this transition in the building sector, I think, is becoming far and far more possible. I saw panels when I was in Taiwan. I was asked to speak at a climate change conference, Smart Cities, and I was on a panel on climate change. I saw bifacial solar panels that generated electricity from the obvious source, the sun, but it generated electricity on the other side of the window from the internal lights in the rooms. And so all of that, think about all those electrons that go to waste. There's now technology that will be embedded in panels that will serve both the interior and exterior of these buildings. And the most intractable part is the grid, and I want to thank the governor again. Your action on wind is huge. The ability, we've actually talked with some of those companies. I was trying to figure out how do I take off. I actually talked about, can we buy all your electric and send it to Montgomery County? But it's a complicated process. But the ability to onshore that wind and get it into the grid, it overcomes one of the major impediments to greening the grid. And so 2035, I could check the box on 2035 for 2 of the 3 sectors. Did not know how to check the box on the grid. This kind of action at the state level, coupled by this kind of action at the rooftop level, actually probably means we could do this by 2035. And I want to thank you for your leadership. It takes a lot of guts to do that. You put yourself out there in a place that some people are saying, why? I deal with these talk show hosts from Baltimore who are like, why is what you're doing going to change, what's happening in the county or the world? And the fact is, it will, because if people see it works and they understand from a businessman that it makes sense economically, this problem will take care of itself as soon as people just stop opposing it just for opposing it. So thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And with that, I introduce the wonderful governor of the state of Maryland.
Good afternoon. This is a great day. It's a great day for not just Montgomery County, this is a great day for the state. And it's an important day for the state. Because this is the time where we continue to see that Montgomery County is going to lead. And it is truly, as you were saying earlier, there are certain places that they are right now in the process of debating what progress looks like. They're in the process of figuring out, well, how do we get there? And then there's Montgomery County who says, we'll see you at the finish line. And it's great too, because that's exactly what we need in this moment. It's what this state needs, it's what the state demands. And I'm grateful for everybody who is up here for the work and for the leadership that you continue to show, Tom and Bonnie and Aaron. And Lisa and Steve and Shruti and all of the partners who make this happen. All the partners on the elected side. County executive, thank you. Thanks for the leadership you continue to show, Mr. President. Thank you, President Glass, for your leadership. For all of your colleagues, members of the council, Montgomery County delegation, our senators, our delegates. I mean, this matters because this is what it's going to take. That progress is not inevitable. Progress doesn't happen just because more time goes. Progress happens because we collectively work together. And I say with a very full throat and a very full heart and a very full chest, this is going to be Maryland's decade. This is going to be our time. And when people say, so in order for it to be Maryland's decade, so what do we have to do? Where do we go first, right? Do you start with, is it housing? Is it the environment? Is it equity? Is it employment and an economy? And my answer is yes. And that's what this project symbolizes. Yes. Or people say, well, who has to lead? Is it the private sector and having really innovative and thoughtful leaders in the private sector, like yourself, right? Is it our community organizations and our nonprofit organizations? Is it local government? Is it state government? Is it community or is it community activism? Is it the people? Who has to lead? And the answer is yes. Because we've all got to be engaged. We've all got to be involved. And we've all got to take this remarkably personal. Because it is true, we are talking about something that is not just an existential threat. And Mr. President, you said it so beautifully, and it is right. It's also the greatest economic opportunity that we have staring us in the face if we're only willing to grasp it. And so we have been very clear from an administration's perspective that this is going to be the time that Maryland will be a state that moves away from running on oil and gas and moves towards a future that is going to be run on renewable energy. And we are unapologetic about it. And that means we are going to make investments in clean energy and electric vehicles. It means we are going to invest in offshore wind. It means we're also, yes, yes. And it means that we are going to invest in community solar projects like this one. And we have seen how the solar industry already generates over 5,000 good-paying jobs in the state of Maryland. We are going to make sure that we will be investing in this sector because we will create thousands of additional jobs in this sector alone. But also why this is so important is for this reason too. It's that progress should not be cost prohibitive. Progress should not be something that only certain people can participate in, only certain people can benefit from. That this actually becomes an opportunity that when we say we can have an economy that is both more competitive and more equitable, that we don't have to choose as a state. We can and we will do both. That for the families in this community who are largely low income, many of whom are people of color, and who are the ones who will be first in line to benefit from this. This matters because you cannot have progress if every single one of our citizens don't understand it nor feel it. Because if we are producing platforms that are just creating an increase in the gap, then altruism will be seen as something else. This becomes a chance, and this becomes a model to show that we can do this right. And I'm excited for the fact that, this is, and I love how you said, CE, that, for now, it's the largest in Montgomery County. And for now, it's the largest in the state. Yeah. Did I just make this up? But we want to make sure that people understand that growth and economic prosperity is not something that has a singular destination. That the pathway for work and wages and wealth is something that we want for every single one of our citizens, and we are going to invest in that way. Because when we invest in climate solutions, when we invest in prosperity for all Marylanders, up and down the economic spectrum, it is going to make all of our communities stronger. It's the reason that our administration has set the very aggressive goals that we will be reaching 100% clean energy in Maryland by 2035, and projects like this will help us do it. And so, thank you for leading the way. Thank you for showing us what progress looks like. Thank you for continuing to show that in order for us to get this done, we got to get it done together. In order for this to be Maryland's decade, it needs to be done collectively. And that this is our time where Maryland will lead because we know other folks are going to follow. So bless you all, and thank you so much again.